JVM Consultants sponsor the 13th round of the historic Formula Ford Championship, which comes from here, Brands Hatch. We're using the Indy circuit this weekend, the home of Formula Ford race, and it's Richard Mitchell, the championship leader, that starts on pole position. He was quickest this morning qualifying by a good margin, half a second, which around this short 1.2 mile circuit of Brands Hatch is a big margin. But behind him, it is extremely close. We've got over 10 cars separated by a second behind. So the home of Formula Ford race and home of the Formula Ford Festival is going to create some very good racing over the next 20 minutes. A 20-minute race as usual for the historic Formula Ford Championship. Good track for racing, especially these slipstreaming, low-powered cars. So the cars head round to the grid. Let's take a look at how they did qualify. Richard Mitchell then, who's our pole car, he did it under 52 seconds. The only driver to do that, over half a second ahead of the Eldon of James Buckton. The two championship contenders on the front row, Mitchell and Buckton. Rob Wainwright starts third in the Jerry Wainwright prepared Eldon, with Max Bartel returned to the series alongside him. We've got Simon Toyne and Rob Smith, who went really well in qualifying. He starts here. Chris Sharples returning. It's Palliser. He qualified 7th ahead of John O'Baines. Then Purdy Kavir and Brian Morris completed top 10. The two Stanzels on row 6. Danny ahead of Kevin. Ross Driver, he going well. He's a first year driver, getting better each time. Matthew Sturmer, James Lovett, Andrew Wiggins, Oliver Smith on the novice drivers, Chris Williams, Peter Finnegan, Rob Headley and Bill Cowan, a couple of drivers there towards the rear. New names for the season, historic Formula Fords. Plenty of good racing about to come up. Richard Mitchell then pulls up onto the pole spot as we're about to go racing. 21 cars, a much smaller grid than usual for historic Formula Ford. It's going to be massive though next time out at Silverstone. The lights go out, we go racing, and who's made a better start? It's the Speed Sport Cup that leads of Mitchell. What a great start from Wainwright. He's already alongside Buckton as they head into Paddock Hill Bend, and he grabs second place away, but Mitchell already making a break. There's the two Eldon swap places. Buckton's trying to fight back as they go up the hill towards Druids. The rest of the field flow through Paddock Hill Bend safely. They all then continue through the race, through Druids and down to Graham Hill Bend go the leaders. Mitchell not able to pull it out much more through there. Still got that gap to Wainwright. So the rest of the field flow through Graham Hill Bend. A load of oil was put down earlier in the day, so there's lots of cement dust there. Then through the fast flowing left and right at Surtees and McLean. You can see Danny Stanzel there. He's made a good start. He's put in Chris Sharples under pressure to Eldon, still fighting away. Then it's the Mark 8 Motorsport car of James Buckton challenging the Jerry Wainwright Motorsport car of Wolf Wainwright as they're allowing the leaders to get away. Wainwright's going defensive. Look at Max Bartel. He's trying to go around the outside. James Buckton can't do that. Then behind Bartel, it's Simon Toyne, one of the Neil Fowler cars. Danny Stanton using all the track there up over the curve. You're allowed to do that. You can't go any further than the curve. You can use as much of the curve as you would like to. Andrew Wiggins heading out of Druid and down to Graham Hill Bend. Trying to stay on the back, I think it's Ross Driver. Buckton ahead of Bartel then as they go through Clearway. You've got Toyne and Rob Smith going really well in qualifying. He's putting it into the race as well, running there in 6th. Next John O'Baines, a gap back to Brian Morris, who's gained a couple of places from his grid position. But he's being challenged by the Palliser of Chris Sharples, who qualified well. Look at it in front, it's 3 wide into Paddock. They don't change place, but Wainwright, Buckton and Bartel will side by side heading into the corner. In true Formula Ford fashion here at Brands Hatch. There's Sturmer, Wiggins and Smith all batting away, but the leaders are coming out of Druids. Look at that great long train of Formula Fords. Got Brian Morris leading this next gaggle. He's ahead of Sharples and Danny Stanzel right there too, and now he's challenging Sharples, going down towards 30s. It's the Palliser ahead of the Eldon. Just ahead of them is the Lola of Brian Morris. We've got 6-7 cars pretty much all together for the lead now. Mitchell isn't that far ahead of Wainwright. Simon Toyne's the driver, challenging Max Bartel this time as they go through Clark Curve and up towards Paddock Hill Bend. And here comes Buckton. You can see the slipstream working. We've got 2 pairs of 2 side by side into Paddock. Past the grandstand. Look at the speedo. Wainwright coming through the corner. He's right onto the tail of Mitchell now as they go up the hill towards Druid. Behind Palliser and Morris, they make contact to the bottom of the hill. And that's giving Danny Stanzel a chance. He's going around the outside of Brian Morris, who's lost that place to Sharples, and almost contact there between Morris and Stanzel. But Stanzel managed to turn out to that and avoid the contact as they now go down towards Graham Hill Bend. It's Sharples pulling away already from Brian Morris. Sounds like a nice drift going through that full drift through Graham Hill Bend, and now he's challenging Brian Morris into Surtees. He tried to go through there, but Morris firmly shut the door on him. Wainwright, Buckton, Bartel, second, third and fourth. Mitchell started to pull away again, but this half a second gap he had in qualifying is not translating in the race. It's only about that, but we've had a good part of the race. Gordon free wide again into Paddock Hill Bend. Max Bartel this time though makes it work. He goes round the outside of Buckton, using that high, wide and handsome line here at Brands Hatch. And now Danny Stansel, he does the opposite, goes down the inside into Paddock, and it looks like he's going to gain a place as well. Just behind him, Kevin Stansel. He's seeing it all unfold as Brian Morris slots in underneath Bartel. Then it's Percy Kaviri behind Brian Morris, and we've got Kevin Stansel. We're on board with Russ Driver at the rear of this battle. A great battle in just inside the top 10. Wainwright's now coming under pressure on Bartel. Bartel has good pace here. He's got ahead of Buck. He's always been challenging into Paddock Hill Bend. We saw that last lap. You go around the outside into Paddock. You go down the inside. Great racing. And they go side by side again. Can Bartel do what he did to Buckton last time? He's nosing ahead into Paddock. But we've seen before Wainwright's late on the brakes into Paddock, and he is once more. He stays in second. Now Bartel looks to the outside, going into Druids. Meanwhile, you see that battle between Kevin Stansel and Ross Driver there. Nosetel not that far ahead of Matthew Sturmer either. Then we've got Wiggins, Smith and Lovett all together. And then just behind them we've got Chris Williams. There's Mitchell there. There's Wainwright and Bartel drifting through 30s. We've got the Janetta making its appearance for the first time historic Formula Fords. Just holding up John O'Bain, so he's lost time to the top 6 there. With such a short lap as we have got here at Brands Hatch, traffic is going to be a factor.
Outside up towards Paddock.
Into Paddock. Wainwright still holding off Bartel, but Bartel certainly got the pace to pass, and he's going to give it a good go. Sharples has been caught up by Danny Stansel, who's really pulled away from Brian Morris. He's got ahead of him, and he just a couple of laps ago, and he's stormed away and closed in on Sharples. They turn through Graham Hill Bend then and head down towards Surtees. Already up at clearways of the leaders. Wainwright having to focus on his mirrors a bit more than he would like, because Max Bartel, who's also racing in Classic Formula 3 this weekend, is challenging. He's going up on the high line towards Paddock Hill Bend, and it looks like he's got it done, but with no Wainwright's late on the brakes here. He comes back underneath Bartel. They're side by side, but Bartel carried so much speed through the corner, and he's gone right round the outside, as he did to James Buckton just a few laps ago, and he grabbed second place. There's Brian Morris, head of Percy Kaviri. They're pulled away now from Kevin Stansel, Ross Driver, who've been closed in by Matthew Sturmer. Then we've got Andrew Wiggins, not that far hold of Ollie Smith. Meanwhile, down into Graham Hill Bend, Sharples and Stansel nose to tail. Down towards Surtees, the really fast left-hander. Lots of work going into the wheel there for Stansel. Now, is he going to try and make a move on the Palliser into clearways? No, he can't do that, but he gets a tighter line. So more grip, Stansel able to find in that Eldon. You tighten his line and not losing any time. Now as they go down the Brabham Straight, down towards Paddock Hill Bend, a good slipstream gained by Stansel. He's going down the inside now as they go into the corner. And yes, he's got it done. He's much later on the brakes. He's ahead before the turn-in points. Stansel gains another place. He's had lots of pace in this race. Qualifying outside the top 10, but he's working his way through very nicely now. He's up into 8th place. Side by side, that's Chris Williams losing a place, and he was battling with the 88 car. Rob Headley started further back, going really well in the race. This is his first race in historic Form 4, certainly this season. Wainwright is really lost out to Bartel, who's now on the tail of Mitchell. This shows you the pace that Bartel has had, and plenty of it is the answer to that. Side by side ahead of Kevin Stansel as Percy Kaviri gets the better of Brian Morris. He went down the inside to Paddock there. He gains the place then, and Mitchell on all the cement, Morris on all the cement dust, runs out wide to Stansel down the inside of him. They're going to run side by side down towards Graham Hill Bend, but it looks like Stansel's got that move done. There's a lot of cement dust down on this track to soak up fluid from earlier races. Then Nose to Tail for the lead. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th all together as well. Once again, Brands Hatch Indy Circuit providing some of the best racing of the season. Baines is being really closed in by Danny Stansel now, showing the pace that Danny has. And they've got Kaviri, Stansel, Dryborough and Morris all together. So Ross Dryborough also got ahead of Brian Morris side by side for the lead. Max Bartel goes right round the outside of Richard Mitchell into Paddock Hill Bend. And once again, for the 3rd time in this motor race, Max Bartel goes around the outside into Paddock Hill Bend. It's a brave move, but it works. And it does work for Bartel, and now Mitchell can't quite find the apex as early as Bartel does. So is he going to be able to fight back? Championship leader Richard Mitchell cannot afford to lose points. He wasn't at Holton Park last time, and he had 2 DNFs at Croft. And that has allowed James Buckton to really close in on the championship. Oh, look at the drifting that Max Bartel does through 30s. Perfectly done, but Mitchell much later on the brakes into clearways, but then Bartel could be able to carry the speed into Clark Curve and down the Brabham Straight, and that's what's given him the run on people earlier on in the race. But now Bartel's got no slipstream, although he may be able to do so off the back marker. But yes, this time it's Mitchell's got the slipstream. He goes to the outside of Bartel, but Bartel's so late on the brakes into Paddock Hill Bend. They lap the slower car of Peter Finnegan, and then they will move past the Janetta of Bill Cowing. But Bartel certainly seems to have the upper edge, doesn't he? And we come back from 4th place to get into the lead. So they turn into 30s, and you can see Bartel's gap. And then we've got the 2 Eldons of Wainwright and Buckton. And then Baines and Stansel absolutely together into clearways. Again, Stansel able to tighten his line-up a lot better than his competition. Slipstreaming the school teacher, John O'Baines. Now goes down the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. Baines leaving a car width. And then he shuts the door into the corner. They've got to lap that slower Janetta now. Baines goes ultra defensive up the hill into Druids. Staying tight on the inside, so nothing Stansel can do there. Down to Graham Hill Bend. Great racing throughout the field then in this race, not just at the front but in the mid-pack and lower on, and a spin. That's Matthew Sturmer. He gets it all wrong at Paddock, but he should be able to continue. All 21 cars that started are still running. Bartel and Mitchell are still together for the lead, just a few car lengths between them as they head off down to Paddock Hill Bend. Bartel come from about 1.5 seconds back to take the lead. Really good stuff from him. Wainwright just holding off Buckton still. The 2 Eldons. Then Toyne and Smith. Rob Smith going really well, isn't he? As Stansel again looks down the inside of Baines. Can't do it though. Out the corner they turn. There's Chris Sharples and Kaviri, and Stansel under pressure from Ross Dryborough. Kevin Stansel, that is. And again, Richard Mitchell so late on the brakes into clearways. He catches right up with Bartel. No, he's in the slipstream. He's in the tow, heading down towards Paddock Hill Bend. But he's already got this battle with 3rd. It's 4 cars together once more. Wainwright, Buckton, Toyne and Smith, and Buckton going round the outside. Meanwhile, side by side for the lead. Mitchell tries to go round the outside of the leader, Bartel, but can't do it. They head down the hill, then up Hayward Hill and into Druids. Mitchell has been good on the brakes on this race, but mainly into clearways. So Bartel able to hold that, and he makes a mistake, does Mitchell. He goes deep into the corner, and that's allowed Bartel to make out a small gap. Stansel, Dryborough and Morris still together. And we've got Andrew Wiggins and Ollie Smith. They're having a good dice. As are the 2 Eldons, Buckton and Wainwright. So are Toyne and Smith behind them, although Wainwright slow out the corner there, out of clearways. And that's Buckton's got ahead, hasn't he? So Buckton into 3rd. And what's happening here? We've got in traffic Stansel, Dryborough and Morris. That's allowed Perthy Kaviri to get away. And Dryborough coming up alongside Kevin Stansel here. For the back marker. They have to make their way through. Should allow Stansel to stay ahead. Just up the road, Baines and Danny Stansel, nose to tail. Nothing can separate them. Round the outside, shot is Stansel. very close to banging wheels, but both drivers respecting each other there, and can continue their dice into Graham Hill Bend, the left-hander. Get the feeling that Stansel's got the pace, but Baines defending well. Into Surtees they go. Yes, Danny Stansel will come from about 2.5 seconds back. Caught him in only about 3 or 4 laps, but as of yet hasn't been able to find a way ahead. Into Druids. Yeah, on race pace, this is quite incredible. The top 11 cars just separated by a second on lap times. That is really fantastic stuff. Shows the competitiveness of this championship. One of the most competitive historic championships there is. And Bartel gets stuck behind one of the slower cars. And that's allowed Richard Mitchell right underneath him once again. Meanwhile behind, Rob Wainwright's lost out to Simon Toyne. Toyne into 4th. And Mitchell wasn't able to make hay. He stays behind. And now Wainwright runs out wide. Rob Smith down the inside up in towards Druids. Sharples has been caught by Purdy Kavir, but Gavin Stanser runs out there. He won, and Brian Morris has lost a place to Ross Dryber. And now Danny Stanser going round the outside of John O'Baines into paddock. So much action here at Brands Hatch. And you see Baines immediately goes defensive out of paddock. He knows Druid's one of the better overtaking opportunities. Hard work around this Brands Hatch circuit too. There's no rest, especially when hard in a battle like most of the competitors are. Toyne, Smith and Wainwright so late on the brakes into clearways. We can't do anything, and then doesn't have the speed down the straight. You have to wonder if there has a problem come in for his car, because he had the pace to run in 3rd place earlier, but he's dropping back. In 2nd place he was, of course, at one point. You can see into clearways he was so much stronger on the brakes than the cars around him. Ross Dryber going well, and Brian Morris almost running out onto the grass there. And Stanzel now right underneath Baines. He goes down the inside into Druids. Baines able to cover that though, and he stays ahead. There's Wiggins and Smith, they're still going at it. Great battle they've had for quite a good proportion of this race. And then Lovett and Headley together as well. Then you've got Bartel and Mitchell. They've just lapped Matthew Sturmer. Remember, he had that spin earlier on. And Buckton now, he's going through the traffic. And then Toyne, Smith and Wainwright still together. Out of clearways and onto Clark Curve they turn. Complete another lap of this race in the closing stages now. So if anybody wants to make up any more positions, they've got to do it sooner than later. As Buckton goes down the inside of Chris Williams, the lapped car. Rob Smith trying to get ahead of Simon Toyne, and Baines and Stanzel overlapping once again into paddock. Stanzel later on the brakes, he's right up alongside Baines that time, but very sideways with Stanzel off the corner. But that didn't slow him down at all. He stays behind then. Look at the understeer that Danny Stansel's got. Full lock on that car, trying to get it round Druid, and that has allowed Baines to make a small gap. And Ollie Smith now round the outside of Andrew Wiggins. He can't quite get that done though. Their battle continues. Bartel and Mitchell are still together. Richard Mitchell not giving up on this one until the second flag comes. They're heading on to the Bradman Straight now. Into paddock. There's Kaviri and Sharples. They've been closed in now by Stansel and Dryber, who in turn have really pulled away from Brian Morris, who seems to be struggling now. Car running out very wide through Surtees. Traffic to be dealt for the leaders. They're turning out of Graham Hill Bend now. Bartel's got a small margin to Richard Mitchell. If Bartel catches the traffic at the wrong time, the battle for the lead will be right back on. And yes, look, Bartel having to stay behind the traffic longer than he would have wanted, but hasn't really allowed Mitchell to catch. That's James Lovett there passing. Of course, with this being just over 50-second laps, they're lapping quite fast cars really. Wiggins now challenging Brian Morris up into Druids. He gets the place done. Morris has really dropped back, hasn't he? Now Andrew Wiggins has got ahead of him. Buckton, Toyne and Smith then, now on their final lap of the motor race. And Rob Wainwright, he's dropped back, hasn't he? Wainwright must have a problem then. And side by side, Baines and Stansel. I think they've been side by side pretty much every lap of this second part of the race. But Stansel's got a very good run off of Paddock. He'll bend it up alongside Johnny Baines. He hasn't done this yet, I don't think. But Baines later on the brakes into Druids. This is where Stansel's been getting in a lot of his understeer. But they're still side by side. But Baines just staying ahead. Through clearways for the final time, the two leaders together. Can Mitchell get a run onto the Bowman straight and perhaps start out at the toe at the last second? The checkered flag waiting for them. And they are pulling now, side by side, as Mitchell pulled alongside Bartow. He couldn't pass him though. Then third place, that'll be James Buckton. So two championship contenders finishing second and third. Fourth, Simon Toyne, and fifth, Rob Smith. The troubled Rob Wainwright will finish in sixth. Really, the car not going anywhere near as quick as it should be. And Baines and Stanzel are still together in that battle for seventh as they go up to the line. And it is just going to be Baines. But plenty of close finishes there. A fantastic race. And Richard Mitchell there congratulating Max Bartel, our race winner. Wins for the first time this season. He hasn't competed in that many races. Just 400ths of a second separated those two Merlins. James Buckton finished third, just 6 seconds back, with Simon Toyne and Rob Smith in close proximity. And the troubled Robert Wainwright Holden finished sixth. Jonathan Baines and Danny Stansel just 800 seconds apart. Percy Gaviri and Kish Shah, who's completed the top 10. Then Kevin Stansel held off Ross Dryber. Andrew Wiggins and Ollie Smith finished on the lead lap. Rob Headley, Brian Morris, James Lovett, Max Sturmer, Chris Williams, Peter Finnegan, Bill Cowan, all finished. And all 21 cars that started finished the race. The fastest lap also going to Max Bartel of 52.29, averaging around this busy lap over 83 miles per hour. These small 1600cc Kent engined cars. Your winners being congratulated by Championship Coordinator Andrew Mansell after a hard fought and close motor race. Yet again, historic Formula Ford, proving some of the best racing in the UK. Also, Nigel Grant of Nigel Grant Motorsport, who helped prepare Max Bartel's car. Congratulating our winners too. So the rest of the field head back to the paddock through the Brands Hatch tunnel. Podium presentations being presented by HSCC's Graham White. Firstly to James Buckton, the podium being conducted by circuit commentator Matt Suckling. Onto the podium now, second place car driver, that is Richard Mitchell. Brands Hatch caps and HSCC trophies, and the race winner now, Max Bartel, on the top step of the podium. And that is the podium for the 13th round of the 2015 historic Formula Ford 1600 Championship.